Let's take another call quickly. This is Mulative in Canada. Hey, what can we do for you
Hello.
tonight?
Hi.
Howdy.
I noticed that the topic was sexual desire discrepancy, and immediately some memories flowed back into my head. So I wanted to share them with you, some stories, and bounce them off you and see what you thought.
Go for it.
Please.
All right. So, yeah, I wrote it with the topic of proper ladies don't talk like that. And you said that exact something similar to that, just after I had typed it in on the web form, and yeah, one of my earliest relationships, yeah, my girlfriend said exactly that. When the topic went to sex, she would clam up and she would have such trouble. Like, she wanted to tell me, but I had trouble reading that from her. And I guess it wasn't as much a desire discrepancy at that point as much as like a desire blockage.
Yeah.
And sorry if you want to jump in.
No.
Trying to
Sorry.
not ramble. But yeah, like we thought up a solution eventually. She would write me a note, and when we were just figuring things out, she would draw a little diagram of the clitoris and like a little circle around it that you want to trace around, and just like stuff like that. We figured stuff out eventually, but it was still like she would never initiate. Like, if she was horny and I was neutral, because I don't think I was ever really not horny, but when she wanted to initiate, she did this thing, and I didn't know what it was until she explained it much later, like months later, but she would put her finger on my chest and draw a little numeral 1. And I thought she was just being cute. We were watching a movie, and we just kept watching the movie. But when I would initiate, I would be a lot more obvious. I don't know if I could say on YouTube, but yeah, I would be a lot more obvious, and you can probably imagine what that means.
No, my imagination is very wild. So
I was about to say there are so many things that could mean. I can imagine a couple hundred things that might mean,
exactly.
but
Be more
I'm
specific.
curious about yours.
Yeah. Well, it would be much more forward than a numeral 1 on her chest.
Sure. No, and that's an important thing to acknowledge, that it's okay to say, would you like to have sex? Yeah. You know, it's great to say, yeah, you want me to bang you? I mean, whatever works for you. There's no correct vernacular, but it's nice to be able to have a partnership where you can discuss these things. And when you can't, that's okay too. I appreciate her willingness to initiate, but it's valuable when we can be clear and direct with our partners.
True.
Yeah. And like, even speaking of that, that was even difficult for me to do, just until I had met like my partner after that. But like during this time, it was hard to say, like, if I say sex, will I sound too, booky? And if I say, you want to bang, will I sound too much the opposite? It just feels like there isn't a right word to say it. But like, yeah, the partner after that, like, she was the one who did initiate, and she just straight up said, "Can I see your penis?" And that was hot. I thought that was really attractive. But we were also both
all
very,
words are right, so as they're clear.
Yeah.
It's nice to feel wanted.
It probably helped that we were both of us were bookworms, so we kind of, it felt normal.
Yeah, I might walk that back and emphasize, like, all words are right so long as they are clear and kind. That we are compassionate to our partner's needs. And I don't think that means we need to be afraid to initiate sex when our partner has had a long day. But we need to know the difference between a request and a demand, and how to take no for an answer, and to not create a shame loop, or to feed into a shame loop that turns a handful of no's into a string of no's that then starts to rock our confidence.
Yeah. There are also a lot of different ways. Without using your words, you can set the scene in your house, and suddenly your partner comes home and you have like candle lights and you have a specific music and you're dressed a different way. It's a lot more inviting. So instead of having to be very forward, the person kind of walks in, and then you're like, oh, is this happening tonight? So without any words. So if the person does not have the vocabulary or the bravado to say it, they can still do it in a different way. And suddenly, like the Herald World is coming, and it's like, Hi, how are you? It's like, how was your day? Or you can do sexting. Can go at the
Yes.
store and you're trying lingerie, and then you take a picture of yourself and you go, should I buy this? So I strongly encourage
Yeah.
sexting in any relationship.
Hmm.
Like, uh, it's so worth it. It
Yeah.
kind of
Prepares
gets
for
your
what's
mind.
happening that night. Yeah.
Of course, it gets your mind started. So people that like if you need some preparation and you have something to look forward to, the anticipation is rising, and it's definitely a tool that you can use. So, in long-term relationship, what I find is that people stop trying to initiate sex. They basically go like, "Hey, whoops, sorry, the camera. Hey, honey, you want to have sex?" And they go directly for the genitals, and they
Oh,
The
yeah.
stop.
tease in our strip tease gets taken out.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, and it's so sad. It's
Yeah.
it's how to go as basic as possible. It's like, you want to come tonight? It's like, wow, start by kissing me, like, start, like,
Yeah. Well, I
romance
mean,
me just a little bit.
I can be a little bit oblivious, so I try to tell, like, when I meet with a new partner and I'm probably being oblivious to their hints, I want to tell them, like, if you're horny and you want to tell me and make sure that I know, I give you permission to take your hand and put it straight down my waistband. Just go for it. I give you permission for that because I am oblivious.
But
That's
you can
like,
add some elements to your repertoire. You can make it
yeah,
so that there's not just one way, one road that leads to sex, that there's
yeah,
many different ways, and then you make it nice and
mhm,
diverse.
yeah.
No?
I agree with that. That, like, but when you're just like figuring each other out, like, eventually I'm gonna learn my partner's hints, and we'll figure things out from there. But, like, if if I'm being like if I'm being oblivious, and I do tend to be oblivious, then, like, I give them that permission, like, right away, right off the bat.
It's a good permission to have.
Yeah, being able to
Yeah,
communicate on a
Yeah,
handful of different frequencies so that if you're not picking up
completely.
the
literally, yeah,
messages somewhere, you can get them somewhere else.
Yeah, and at in the middle of, like, Easter dinner, like with your family, maybe like grabbing your penis like in front of your mother and father may not be like, maybe a slight innuendo will get you, like,
yeah.
to have
I
sex
would be
like
very
in
surprised. I would be
well,
very surprised
exactly.
if I met someone that forward.
Well, yeah, I think your parents too. So maybe be open to understanding each other's language.
Yeah.
Sexual language in a different way that's less direct is going to
Hmm.
be helpful in certain situations.
Really
That
just be as broad as you can
Yeah,
about the way that you communicate these things and the way that you experience them.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well,
Well, I
thank you
just
so
wanted
much
to,
for giving us
like,
a
yeah.
call. Anything else before we head out for the night?
Oh, well, no, I just wanted to say that this topic was very important to me because of the early relationships that I have, and I hope that we can take the experiences that we gathered from this and give that to the new generation so that they can have a happier sexual future.
Oh, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, it's we were kind of prognosticating before the show, and me maybe a little more grumpily about just sort of the direction things seem to be heading with sex ed. But I do
Mm.
want to believe that information like this is getting out through Netflix, through YouTube, through all of these different mechanisms. And
Yeah,
if nothing else, we all here doing this right now can do our part to try and create a more sex positive world.
Yeah, I agree. Talk about it, talk about sex, make it more normal for people to talk about it, and at work, with friends, with family, and normalize it. I love to normalize it.
yeah. Thank you for
Well, we
having me on.
definitely appreciate. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great
Yeah,
night.
thank you.
You too.